One more time for Cody. Huh? One more time for Cody. One more time for that ass-eating machine. That boy eat ass. That's what he said. Well, how you guys feel about eating ass? You seem to like it when you talk about it. It's going to be a little different story for me. That's not my, it's not my main thing. My main thing is just having fun, enjoying myself. Hope you guys, it's my first time in Montana. Hope you guys welcome me with open arms, just like you did Cody and his weird hair. It was a nice intro. I like nice intros. I've been doing comedy 11 years. I've had some weird intros in my life, like all over the country. I've had some, one guy, I did a show where the host was fresh out of prison, 20 years, fresh out of prison. This is how he brought me up. He goes, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's my time. Show this next comic some love because he's the only white comic on the lineup. Give it up for Isaac Allen. And in that moment I realized there are not a lot of Asians in prison. He saw my face and he thought he knew, but he didn't know. He was like, what kind of white is that? There's something going on in there. This state is crazy. Like I said, I've never been here before. And within landing, I was excited because I heard Montana is beautiful. And I don't like people and there's not a lot here. So, I live in LA. I've learned to hate every person. But I remember I landed, I drove through the night here from Bozeman. And I'm pretty sure I have PTSD. Because I don't know what the wildlife is fucking doing out here. Or why in the winter your sun rises at noon and sets at 2 p.m. But I thought I could do it. I grew up in Indiana, so I grew up in the Midwest. I know open fields and stuff. I know how to hack it. And so I'm driving. Within an hour into the drive, I'm just tired. I didn't see much on the plane. And I'm driving. And my first thought is, this is terrifying. There's no buildings, there's no lights, there's no anything. It's just an abyss, a darkness, a black hole I'm driving through. I don't know why anyone in this state would ever pay to go to a haunted house. Just get in your car and drive at night for free. That's the haunted house. So I'm just driving, and I'm an hour in, and I'm like, you know what, I got this. And I'm doing 80, even though it's pitch black, because I'm not a bitch. And I'm going, and all of a sudden, in front of me, I just slam the brakes. 4 massive elk are just sitting, looking at me like this in the road. Just staring like this, not moving, like, fucking try. I thought totaling that rental. And so I slam on the brakes, I'm shaking. I'm just all traumatized already. I'm triggered and everything. And then they finally just kind of move out of the way, but they stood for a minute and looked at me. And look, again, LA, I've walked by Bloods and Crips every day with no fear. I've never been more afraid by this gang of 4 elk just staring. I swear one of them went like this. He had a gold tooth with an N next to him. He was like, north side, fellas. North side, don't fucking forget it. Yeah, that's right. So he walks off. I drive, and now everything on the road just looks like an elk. Everything. Because when my headlights hit them, they look at you, those eyes, and it reflects. There's just refraction of light. And then they have those reflectors on the roads and the guardrails, and everything looks like an elk. I'm just driving, and I swear there's nothing. There's nothing there. 0 items, just a reflector, and I'm like, oh, I just watch it go by like you. I did that at a guardrail. A guardrail showed up, and I almost turned and hit the other guardrail. You understand how dumb of a way to die that would be? The thing that's supposed to protect me from driving, I swerved away from and hit the other thing that was supposed to protect me while I'm driving. So I'm just like, make it through, get to the hotel. I'm about an hour away from here, which is what I'm staying in this hotel. I'm about an hour away. And I'm thinking I'm scot-free. I think I can kind of relax a little bit. I've still got the shakes a little. I'm just white knuckling. I'm surprised the steering wheel isn't in my hand during this show. I just whipped it up and won't let go. And I'm driving, and then, right when I think I'm scot-free, a fucking deer, a little, like not as big as those elk, like a fourth the size. I see him coming though, so I start to hit the brakes a little bit, but then he doesn't stop. He just darts across the darkness right into the road. So I hit the brakes, and this time the anti-lock kicks in, just kick, and it goes. And so I try to swerve away, but instead of just continuing to go, he like stops, freaks out, and tries to go my direction with me. Like tries to run this way. Like he's gonna outrun me. And so I tried to turn, and zigs like away. But you know what? When you're behind someone at the grocery store in the aisle and you can't get around them with your car, you're like, excuse me, could you please move? They're like, oh, sorry, but they just keep going the same direction. You're like, could you just move? That's what he was doing. He was leaping. And I was like, I'm gonna go left. And he's like, me too. Oh no, never mind. And it just kept, for like 2 seconds, I'm doing this. So finally, I came to a complete stop, and his stupid white tail just goes off in the distance. And literally, I rolled down the window, I shouted, I was like, this is a rental, you asshole! And I just kept going to the hotel. I'm so traumatized. If someone heckles me tonight, I'm gonna be like, is that an elk? Get that fucking elk out of here. But I'm here, I'm alive, I made it. Clearly I have issues, you can tell by just my demeanor. Someone was like, the guy with his arms folded and a goatee was like, yep, I got it together. You see this shit? 90-degree angle, perfect. Yeah. It must be true because on my social media feed, which I hate social media, but I have to do it for this job, and I keep getting targeted ads from mantherapy.com, which is a good idea, right? In the age we live in now, it's good because it's for men. It's targeted to men because it wants to kick the stigma that men are weak if they go to therapy, which is a stigma that exists, and it's not cool. So it's good, it's trying to kick that. But they're going about it in the most manly way possible because the slogan for man therapy is, pop the hood on your mental engine. It kind of defeats the purpose of not being manly. I mean, they're basically just saying like, dude, you're not a bitch if you go to therapy, bro. But when you get there, don't be a bitch about it, dude. You put your trauma in a rear naked choke. You choke that out, dude. You uppercut your trauma in the chin, dude. Fucking rub some dirt on your brain and think it off. Having a company called mantherapy.com with the slogan, pop the hood on your mental engine, is like having a company called womenconstructionworkers.com and the slogan is, don't break a nail, hammer one. Don't you gossip on the high beams. Defeats the purpose. And I don't even know what a man therapy office would look like. Just like a moose lodge with a flat screen next to a bison head. The therapist is just watching the game while he's talking to you. He's just like, how is that not holding? You're blind, ref. You're blind. That's 10 yards the opposite way. So how did your divorce with your parents affect you? You know? And there's no way it's useful, man therapy. Why would that be useful? It's a man talking to another man. And you know 99% of them are in for porn addiction. It's like a serial killer giving advice to another serial killer. It's like, have you tried not killing him? Me neither. I don't know how. Because it's just a man looking at another man going like, yeah, I can't stop watching porn. And the therapist is just like, have you tried just using your imagination while you... Yeah? Didn't work? I got nothing. I was actually hoping you could give me some pointers. Actually, here's your money back. Can we switch spots? My marriage is falling apart. I grew up in the Midwest. My girlfriend's amazing. We live together in a little place in LA. We get along pretty well, but there's, when you're in a couple, I mean, there's a lot of couples here tonight, you know, the more you go and the more you dig deeper into each other's personalities, you figure out things that, like values you just have that are different, that you didn't know coming in. Like little things are the ones that cause fights. It's not the big ones, it's always the little ones. Like I grew up that when you're on a road trip, the driver picks the music. The driver picks the music, and if you're nice enough, they'll let you DJ for a little bit. But if they're taking the responsibility to drive, they pick the music. Apparently she was raised by heathens who don't understand this concept, and she gets mad every time. And one time we were driving to a gig, I guess she'd had enough. I was driving to a show, San Francisco, so 4-hour drive. I'm driving, all of a sudden my phone starts floating in front of my face. I can't see the road at all. I'm doing 80 on the freeway, I can't see anything. So I go like this to try and move. The phone is following me. Everywhere I go, it's following me. And so finally I had to pull over. I'm like, look, I'm gonna die. I look, she's trying to unlock my phone with Face ID while I'm driving so she can play Taylor Swift or some shit. She's like, come on, just stay still. And I'm like, you trying to kill us? So I had to pull over. I was like, what? is wrong with you? If you want to pick the music, we've had this discussion. You drive. And she was like, well, you know, I have an astigmatism, okay? So I can't really see, and it's nighttime, and it's a long drive. And I was like, well, you better hope you go deaf too, because it's about to be Pearl Jam for the next hour and a half. I was just driving, singing lyrics just to mess with her along with the song. I'm like, you can't drive because you're too blind and not to pick the music. Again, don't call me driver. Like I said, I'm Asian. I'm actually half Chinese, half white. So that one postgrad. I'm actually half Chinese, I'm half white. Grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana. I wish someone would have told me that when you're biracial, you start off looking exactly like one of the races, and then just transition to looking exactly like the other one. I'm gonna look like Macaulay Culkin when I'm 80. I'm accepting that. And when I was born, when I was 1 year old, I got pictures to prove it. I looked like a baby Buddha. Seriously, round head, bowl cut, just no nose, a flat face, dark skin, and then like as I aged, the white side in me just started conquering and pillaging the genetics. Started just burning my DNA down. It literally like grabbed my DNA and unwound the double helix into straight a thing with like it literally unwound it into railroad tracks. It made my Chinese side build railroad tracks in my body. My face just elongated, everything just I got tall, I got broad shouldered, my this big Professor Snape ass nose just came out. I might as well be up here like, would you all like to hear some jokes tonight? You will hear things that have never before been heard and see things that have never before been seen. Some gender jokes, some trans jokes, some racial jokes, and some may offend. But I did learn weird things growing up with this vague ethnicity in Indianapolis. It's all black and white people there. So I feel like I got this unique cultural perspective that a lot of you guys just don't have. I just know certain things you guys just won't know. Like for example, there's only one instance that it is a minority's fault. One instance, it's a minority's fault when a white person is racist. Just one. And that is when a minority goes to a medium to communicate with a dead relative, and the medium's white. Just think about it, they gotta be your dead relative, they gotta act like them, they gotta talk like them, they gotta be, you know, whatever, you know, whatever, hey motherfucker, like whatever. And every medium I've known is a white lady in a shawl. So it's my fault when I go up to her and I'm like, does my grandfather have a message for me from beyond the grave? And she just grabs my wrists and goes, yes, he does have a message for you. He's speaking through me now. He says, oh, hello, Grandma. Oh, I'm very happy. You love him, just a white lady. Oh, very good. Are you happy? I hope you're happy. And I was like, I meant my white grandfather. She's like, no, it's him. He's just very racist. Oh, sorry. Wrong grandmother. Better luck next time. Bye. I love you. White grandpa, every time. My mother's an immigrant from Hong Kong, so you know I'm not one. She instilled those qualities in me. When you have an immigrant parent, you are not allowed to turn down free things ever. Ever. Even if you could never use them, you're not allowed to turn them down. You need to accept them immediately. If this room was nothing but women and someone came in the back and was like, I have an extra IUD, I'd be like, move, just move, get the fuck out. I don't have a vagina, but I'll figure something out. I'll figure out how to use this. I'll store it in the closet. And I saw this in full force one day when she came to visit me in LA. She wanted to go to a gym to work out, and she's in her 60s, just wanted to stay healthy, do her Tai Chi or whatever. So we're at the gym, and on the way out of the gym, there was a basket of like free individual wipe samples. She walked by without even looking at what they were, just went, pow, grabbed 50 of them, shoved them in her purse, and just walked out. I get home, there's wrappers all over the ground. just used wrappers, and she's wiping her feet with these wipes, just going. So I pick one up, and look at it, and I go, Mom, you know these are vaginal wipes, right? And without missing a beat, she goes, good for your vagina, good for your feet. And you know what? I don't care what kind of degree you got in here, none of us know if that's true or not. None of us know. That sounds right. That sounds very right. If you saw me wiping down this mic stand with a vaginal wipe, you'd be like, that's going to be a clean-ass mic stand. I don't know the science behind it, but that sounds right. It's weird to be culturally different from your heritage sometimes, because like my heritage is a lot of white stuff and then Chinese, but all my friends are black and white because that's where I grew up. You know what I mean? So those are the two ethnicities and cultures that I watch the most. And I'm still waiting for someone to explain to me why every single time a drunk white dude is trying to convince you to do something that you don't want to do, he won't stop rubbing his chest in a small circle. Always has a look on his face like he can smell his own bullshit. You do it, dude. You do it. You throw the baby off the bridge. Don't make me do it, dude. You do it. Don't be a bitch, dude. Just do it. The more he tries to convince you, the wider the circumference of the circle gets. It's crazy. I had a roommate bust in one day, brony white roommate of mine, named Donovan, of course. And he just busted in my room and he goes, Isaac, dude, come do some shots with us. Do some shots with us in the living room, bro. I was like, nah, I gotta work tomorrow. He goes, bro, there's chicks. There's chicks out here, dude. They said they're into Asian dudes. I mean, they said they eat a lot of Thai food, but you can work with that. You can work with that. And a fun fact, when you see a drunk black dude doing the same thing, he's just trying to say no to whatever the white dude's convincing him to do. Just looks like two grown men with acid reflux disease. Just a white dude like, come on, Jamal, do another shot. He's like, nah, man, you got me fucked up, man. You fucked up. If you see the white guy go under the shirt, run. Run for your life. Someone will die that night. Bad decisions will be made. Just run away. Your girlfriend falls, fuck it, leave her. Her fate's been decided. Continue on in her memory. If a cop pulls you over for drunk driving, just be like, there's a white guy rubbing his chest under his shirt back there. And he's going to be like, here's my gun, get to safety. I'll distract him with a frisbee. Go. Go. It's the next horror movie I'm going to write, which is called Chest Rub. Starring the entire Lambda Chi Delta fraternity. I was hesitant to do that joke in Montana because there's no, where are the black people? I don't know. Who in here is going to relate to that? Fucking nobody. When I got my car at the airport, I heard a voice and it was just like, hello, sir, we got a car for you here, reservation, what's the last name? I looked up and I was like, oh, you're black. Like, that's not the voice that I know. Use a different voice, so. Okay, that's the most racist shit I've said in the last 10 years. Which I think is pretty good. Can't cancel me for that one. Maybe, I don't know. Don't know. I hated dating too as an Asian guy in the Midwest. Ugh, don't do that. Don't be an Asian man. It's better now, but in the 90s, that sucked. I can prove it. Anybody in here, any woman, anybody's coupled up right now with your man, go to a bar at some point, you know, you go get a drink, have him sit there and talk to his buddies and see how he reacts when other dudes hit on you of other ethnicities, black, white, Hispanic, anything like that. He's gonna be talking to his boys like, yeah, man, so I checked my stock portfolio the other day and, you know, hey, what the fuck is going on over here, dude? Who are you, bro? Let an Asian dude hit on you. Watch how he reacts. He's gonna be like, so I checked my stock portfolio the other day and, you know, the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones. Should I get Tesla? I don't know. How do you ask him for financial advice? Get him a drink on our tab. I heard they're good at that kind of thing. You ask him, is Google good? Google? Should we get some Google? And I blame women. I blame you women. It's your fault. Because you buy into all the hype. You do. You buy into the hype. You think all Asian men are going to be bad and bad because what everybody told you, like, we're going to be good and bad. they're not going to be good enough for you, we're not going to make it work for you. But I think most Asian men are pretty decent in bed across the board. It's just the same way that every sports announcer calls a white athlete deceptively fast. They never say fast, can they? Can't do it. Every time a black athlete runs down the field, you guys are watching it today in the college sports, every time a black athlete, he's got blazing speed, look at him go! And then a white dude catches him and they're like, he was deceptively fast. I was very deceived at the whiteheads. That's the adjective I would use, deception. Yeah. I'm just trying to tell you ladies, that's just us Asian men with fucking. That's all I'm trying to say. Listen, whether you love him or hate him, Tom Brady was the 199th draft pick. That means that there were 32 coaches, teams, and GMs that thought that there were 198 players better than him, and now he has more Super Bowl rings than all of them. I'm just saying, ladies, take a chance and go dig it in the draft sometimes. You might find an Asian dude who's the Tom Brady of fucking. But no, you waste all your first round picks on these fucking pieces of shit. Always forget their wallet when they take you out on a date. Call your mom a bitch to her face. When meanwhile, Chang is sitting over here in the corner with a full head of hair and a 401k. Wondering why you didn't draft him in the first round. I can't get you Super Bowl rings, ladies. Maneuver rings? That's in my budget. Come to the Walgreens right now. What do you have in Montana? Walmart? I don't know. I'll go there. Plus, we also know moves in the bedroom exclusive to Asian men that other men don't know. I'll teach it to you now so you can use it at home. Everybody's got their name for their thing, right? Some of them are well known, the rusty trombone, the dirty Sanchez, and whatever. There's this one exclusive to Asian men where you sneak attack from the back really early on a Sunday before she wakes up at dawn. It's called the Pearl Harbor.
Not cool. It's Veterans Day, you know.
First of all, wasn't that shit like yesterday? It's what? It was observed yesterday. Today's the real day. God, I'm so happy I did that then. So happy I did that. Because you know who loves that fucking joke? Veterans. I've done that joke like 1,000 times. There's fucking legless dudes in the crowd like, it's a joke. It's a joke, don't you know? Listen, look, I get where you're coming from though, lady. I get it, because it's weird what you can and can't say, right? I just feel like as much as I've been ignored as an Asian dude my whole life in America, I kind of feel like I have the right to say fucking anything. I say anything because no one ever has taken me seriously my whole life until I get right in their fucking face. I mean, it's crazy how I feel like Asian men is like one of the lowest groups taken seriously. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen where people will laugh at us before anybody else, and they won't laugh at their shit. I've seen it happen. I was at a comedy club one day doing a show. I came outside. There was a security guard, a black security guard, white security guard. And they were both talking about their favorite Fast and the Furious movies. So already I hated both of them. The white guy goes, "Hey, what's your favorite, dude?" And the black guy goes, "Tokyo Drift," and just points at me. Like, doesn't that clear it up, And everybody laughed. Do you think that would work the other way around at all? Do you think that would? If that white dude was like, "Hey, Isaac, what's your favorite movie and show about abuse?" And I was like, "Roots." There'd be a fucking parade and people kneeling. So I say what I want, whatever. Free speech. If anybody gets that, it's Montana. Ladies might have cheered a little too soon. I know you guys are football. I can tell today by the people who listen. You're football. Like, I struggle watching women in football. I just do. It's not my thing. It bugs me a little bit because every time I just see it, it doesn't fit the theme. And before you ladies go all Jodie Foster on me, just listen for a second, okay? Just hear me out. It doesn't fit the theme, all right? Anytime that I would see, 3-time Super Bowl winning champion Troy Aikman, 6'5" Hall of Famer, go, let's throw it down to Cynthia for the injury report. Cynthia, what do you got? And then I see a 5'2" bleached blonde middle-aged woman step in and it's just like, thanks a lot, Troy. It looks to be an MCL sprain, questionable return. It just doesn't make sense. Now, let me extend an olive branch to you ladies, all right? I've looked it up. I've done the research. The shows that men watch the most, sports, number one being NFL. That's like in the 90th percentile. That's like what we watch. Women, 90th percentile, reality TV. That's the shit you watch. Your Love Islands, your Bachelors, your Bachelorettes, Project Runway. Imagine if straight men were the faces of all of those shows. How pissed would you be? Would that make any sense if I was a judge on Project Runway? Look at what I'm wearing right now. Why would that make any sense? They would be like, Judge Isaac, what did you think about the last models walk down the runway? And I'd be like, I'd hit that shit. Look at that ass. I mean, what if you guys gay? Look at that ass, man. But here's another olive branch. What men do they allow on those shows? I just said it. Gay men. Because it fits the theme. It makes sense when a dude with a perfectly coiffed hair, a little perfect polka dot bow tie, he's got a vest on with like a 6-pack just sticking out. He's like, bitch, that does not work on you. You're like, fuck it, he's right. It does not work. So all I'm saying, if they had that version of female in the NFL, I would love women in football. If Troy Aikman was like, let's throw it down to Brooke for the injury report. Brooke, what do you got? And then a 6'6", 260-pound lesbian with a crew cut slides in the frame and is like, thanks a lot, Troy. Looks to be an MCL sprain, questionable return, but you know what? I got my period this morning and I still came to work today, so I say ice that shit up and get the fuck back out on the field. Back to you, Troy. Palms it down, pass, throws it 50 yards into the stands. Tackles a linebacker. Sorry, I like shooting off the mouth. I think it's because I'm an only child. I know it's like that's the number. Yeah, see, already someone. Oh no, that's the number one discriminated against. No one has sympathy for only. People have more sympathy for racists than only child. That's a fact. If someone in this room was like, they're taking all our jobs, kick them back across the border, most people would be like, he's racist. But there's one person who's going to be like, maybe he's dehydrated. Maybe he's having a bad day. But if someone was like, why won't that guy get off stage until someone actually takes the microphone and validates his feelings? They'd be like, only child. That makes sense. That makes sense. Asian only child in Indiana. That's like a double only child. You know how lonely I was? I was raised by 2 atheist parents and I went to youth group. That's how lonely I was. I didn't believe in a higher power or friendship, but I thought one could get me to the other. I was like... And my number one complaint is that you people with siblings, you think that we had it the best. You think we had all the advantages. I had to hear it my whole life. You're like, oh, you don't know, having a brother or sister is just the hardest. No, because you use the same thing every time. You say, we get all the attention. We get all the attention and love. Yeah, from the only two people you don't want attention from growing up, your parents. No one in this room was like, God, I wish my parents were around all the time, 24/7. No, you could use your siblings like blockers in the NFL. You could get them in trouble while you race to the end zone and get away with whatever. Sneak out the window while they're yelling at your sister. You go smoke weed with some friends, blow your boyfriend, whatever, go back inside, shut the window, and they're still yelling at your sister. I could not do that as an only child. One time I opened the window a crack. My dad sat up in bed like, there's been a change in pressure. 5 psi due north. Honey, he's loose. Get the lasso. Isaac, get your ass back in bed. Parents just hovering around you the whole time. I love them and they love me, but it's just, man, it's a lot. Because then you start to buy into their hype because you have no sibling near your age at all, not even close, to present a united front against them. It's always 2 against 1. Always. I thought my parents were cool. Cool parents don't exist. I'm sorry if you're a parent, but you're not cool. A truly cool parent, if you're a truly cool parent, your kid's in rehab. Sorry, that's just the truth. If you're like, dude, I'm so cool, it's like, yeah, your kid's in jail, awesome. But I always grew up thinking, my taste in music is the 60s and the 70s, but I'm 36 years old. Doesn't make any sense. I was never cool in school because I never listened to the same music as everyone else. Because my dad would be blasting the Doors in the house, and I'd just be thinking that's the cool. He'd be like, "Isn't this groovy, son?" I'm like, "Totally. You and mom are the only people that feed me, so whatever you say." And it affected me at school because I'd be on the bus, just they'd be in the back, all my friends just rapping every word, Tupac and Biggie, because it's the 90s. Meanwhile, I'm up front with the bus driver who's on a third divorce, and we're like, "Come on, baby, let my fire. Come on, baby, let my fire." I never even touched a tit. She's been through 8 marriages. Come on, baby, let my... I got a Dare t-shirt on. She smells like meth. Come on, baby, let my... I had my finger on the pulse. I also believed everything my parents said for way too long. That's an only child thing for sure. Again, no one to tell you that that's bullshit. No one that, hey, you know Santa's not real, right? Like, I didn't have that. I had to catch my parents in the act. You're not supposed to believe in Santa until you're 20. You know what I mean? It hit me one day, too, when I was talking to them. I didn't realize. When I went on my first flight, this is what I'm talking about. I believed everything they said. I just took it to heart for way too long. My first flight I ever took with them, I was 6 years old. Of course, they sit me in the middle. Dad's on the right, mom's on the left. Never been on a plane when you're a little kid. You think it's the coolest thing, right? You're looking up at all the knobs. You're like in the sky. So I'm asking, like, what does that button do again? And he's like, oh, that's the light. You hit it, bing. It's a light. You can read it. I was like, that's so cool. What's that one do, Mom? And she was like, oh, that's the air. You go like this, turn it, you hold it, a little hotter. I was like, wow, that's so cool. And then I pointed to the flight attendant call button. And I was like, what does that one do? And they both went, don't ever touch that button. That is for emergencies only. You will be in big trouble in the sky, young man, if you touch that button. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm 36 years old. To this day, I have never touched the flight attendant button. I get the shakes when I do it. I go like this, and I'm like, oh, and I sweat. I get a flop sweat. And I can't do it. I got to put it in my armpits. And I get so thirsty. I get so thirsty, and I can't even just do it. And one time I was 30 years old, and I was touring with my band. I was traveling to Ecuador. It was so cool. My guitar player turns to me, he sits down next to me. He's like, dude, isn't this great? And I was like, yeah, dude, we're getting paid to go to Ecuador. And he was like, yeah, bing! I was like, what are you doing? We're gonna die! Air Marshal's gonna choke us out. The lady comes over with the water. I was like, this bitch. And again, no one just was at a United Front. I called my parents to remind them. I was like, hey, do you remember when that happened? And they just did not. They were like, we don't remember. I was looking for someone to corroborate. I had nobody. I was like, no, this happened. They were like, we don't think it did. Basically, every only child is like a black man in America, and their parents are the cops. They're just like, we've conducted our own internal investigation. We did nothing wrong, but we will be suspending ourselves from being your parents with pay. I can feel it from you guys. I feel like I was really silly the first half of this, and you guys are like, yeah, and now I'm starting to split it. Starting to feel it. She just walked out. She had enough of me. It's Veterans Day. So, I'm going to kill my relatives. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Probably the ones on my other half. I don't know. I'll get back to silly shit. My girlfriend is amazing, but I just tend to date traumatized women. That's kind of like my wheelhouse. You know what I mean? Like white, traumatized, freckled women. That's like 90-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. That's me. You know? But I realized dating her, I don't have as much trauma. I just don't. She's been through a whole lot, and it's really evident in the way she sleeps. People with trauma, I don't know, clap in here if you want any of trauma. Yeah, nobody? Good. You're smart, traumatized people. The way people with trauma sleep is so, like, when I watch her sleep, I mean, she's kicking like she's in the bunkers, and just like every 5 seconds, it's just, I sleep like I'm wrapped in ribbons of hope. Inside of a giant Prozac capsule filled with the waters of Lake Minnetonka, just, purple rain sleep. And this came to a head in our relationship one day because I am an Asian dude who likes to eat dairy before bed. I see some of you are familiar with Asian digestive tracts, but a lot of us don't digest lactose well. And when you don't digest it well, it comes out as air. It just goes straight through and comes out as massive amounts of air. And like I said, I like to do this before bed. I'll just be munching a wheel of Gouda before 10 p.m. I don't care. And then we'll be in bed and it's 2 a.m. and we're both sleeping and she's just like, oh. And I'm sleeping right next to her in my little sleep. And then I start to feel a little push down, you know, just going through my intestine. You know, like a Plinko ball and The Price is Right? And just, you feel it just going down in my little chamber of regrets. And so normally the fart wakes me up first. So I have the wherewithal to wake up, grab the comforter, turn, muffle. No harm, no foul. She's asleep, I don't trigger her. And then there's those days where the fart wakes up first. And I'm facing up. I like to sleep facing up like a vampire for some reason. And I don't know if you know this, but when a fart's got nowhere to go, it just claps back. It just goes, your cheeks turn into an applause break. Just like, so I'm laying up, and this one night, it came out first, and this went, she woke up in bed, what is going on? Which woke me up, because I was asleep for it. So she started me, so I farted more at her, startling. So she screamed more, I farted more. It was like a scream fart trauma circle. Just, And so finally, after 10 minutes, we're both just sweating, like, oh, God. Oh, what was that? And she was like, what happened? Is someone kidding? I'm like, no. So I tried to comfort her. Yeah, everything's okay, babe. Little forehead kiss. And I was like, it's okay. Everything's going to be fine. And no one's here to get you. She goes, oh, thank God. What's that smell, though? I was like, you're dreaming. Go back to bed. Go back to bed. I know she's the one, though. I know she's the one. I'm going to ask her to marry me somewhere. We've been together about 3 years. The only reason I know that is because I've been through enough breakups. Breakups are good. Don't ever forget that. Breakups are supposed to happen. If they happen, you got to learn from them. That's the whole thing. There's some weird things about breakups you learn about yourself. You know, like the music you listen to at the gym gets different when you're working out. You know when you're working out at the gym, you like to put in some rock and roll normally, whatever. But then you go through a breakup and all of a sudden it's like Usher's You Got It Bad. Just trying to get through it. That's what I would do. I went through here's the crazy thing. The worse the breakup is, the more embarrassing the music you listen to at the gym when you're working out. Like I thought I had it bad and like doing any breakup, just Usher's You Got It. I'm bench pressing the Boys to Men Under the Road. Then I went through my first marriage and divorce at 30, and I was on a treadmill listening to Disney's Hercules. I'll find my way. I can go the distance. I don't care how far. Just weaving in front of a grown man twice my size. Just lifting weights, looking at his buddy like, bro, is this guy crying on a treadmill? Yeah, 24-hour fitness is not for us. We gotta change gyms. If you see someone running on a treadmill at 8.0 speed or higher, they just got divorced. And a treadmill is the perfect metaphor for going through a breakup because you're trying to run away from all your problems, but you're not going anywhere in life. Just running in place like, I want to get away from you, Susie, but the phone's in the cup holder if you need me. You can tell how bad the divorce was based on the settings of the treadmill. You know that? I thought I had it bad at 8.0 speed. I looked at the guy next to me, 11.0 speed for 5 miles. I was like, you lost custody and the house? It doesn't even go to 11. We've all seen treadmills, they go to 10. It adjusted to his sadness. It was just like an AI thing, like we know sad sneakers when we feel a divorce guy up at Spinal Tap at 11. I also learned I can no longer date a woman who has a name that is also a word you could see anywhere in the English language. Because I remember I walked by a kiosk and a guy looked at me and he goes, hello sir, would you like to donate to charity? And I'm like, why? She took fucking everything from me. I mean, you know her. Just saying, try breaking up with Holly around Christmas time. See how your caroling changes. Maybe in front of a stranger's house. Deck the halls with boughs of bitches. Or when faith cheats on you, go to church that Sunday. That's a weird Sunday. And the priest is like, have faith, my son. Already did, Father, and so did the whole front pew. Peace be with you, but she can go fuck herself. How about that? Right? Let me get this wafer. I hate that bitch. Yeah. Tastes like resentment. You know the resentment? It's a little dry, but it's good. Good stuff. But the best part of it, the silver lining for me, is that I got custody. I got custody of the little one. He's in the car with the windows up. No, he's at home. My girlfriend's watching it. He's a 100-pound American bulldog. Yeah. Sounds kind of like that guy. I gotta say, getting a dog from divorce is way better than a kid. Way better than getting a kid from divorce. You know why? Because all the fucked up things that you want to talk about your ex to your kid, you can just unload on your dog and it won't fuck them up forever. I would stumble home every day just drunk and sad like a single dad in a leather jacket because I'm overcompensating. And I would open the door and he would just be happy, shaking his ass at me, his little jowls waggling, and it just made me so, just melted my heart. I'd grab him and be like, oh my God, squish his little face. Yes, Daddy loves you. Yes, Daddy loves you so much. And guess who doesn't? Mama, because she's a bitch. That's right. She's a big fat bitch and she abandoned us in our time of need, even though Daddy supported her financially and emotionally for most of the relationship. But now Daddy's trying to be funny for a living. She's the guy with a stable 9-to-5 job. She's afraid Daddy cheats on the road. But Daddy doesn't cheat on the road. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He just falls asleep naked in the hotel room in Montana with a bottle of Jameson on his chest. Daddy loves you. Daddy loves you. Good job. Good job. Say that to your 5-year-old, see what happens. He's going to be in therapy at 6 playing with a Tonka truck like, Daddy called Mommy loose and that's why I kill rodents. It's my favorite laugh when someone says, oh no, while they're laughing. My brain is telling me not to enjoy this, but I enjoy it. I think absentee fathers deserve more credit. See how I go back and forth between silly and fucked up? That's kind of like my thing. You know? Let me clarify that. I think maybe they don't need more credit. It's just they did the right thing in the end. They left their families. Think about it. Yeah, there's someone who knows. She knows exactly what I'm about to say right over here. That's the dude you wanted to stick around? Like, really? Really? That's the guy who never wanted to do the job to begin with? You know the only thing worse than a shitty dad who leaves? A shitty dad who stays. To add more shittiness onto that kid. That's what. Just leave the kid with the single mom. You'd be way better off. You know what I mean? That's a job. You're in charge of a life. You're in charge of multiple lives sometimes. What job would you want someone doing with that? Where they just don't want to do it. If I just graduated pilot school, and you guys were all my first flight, my very first, I'm a proud new pilot, and you guys are my first flight, and then all of a sudden you guys are sitting there on your seats for 5 minutes, and then I just come out of the cockpit and go, I don't want to do this anymore! And then I go back into flying the plane. You guys aren't going to be like, he's so brave for trying. That's what's important, is that he tried, and he's very brave for that. I think this flight is going to be okay, we're not all going to die. Look at the evidence. Look at all around you. Look at the evidence. Let me name some people who had dads. John Wayne Gacy, Kevin Spacey, Jeffrey Dahmer, all had involved fathers. You know who didn't? LeBron James. LeBron James. And now that guy's got championships in 3 different cities. He gives millions back to those inner cities to help build them from the ground up. And he's got kids that are about to play with him in the NBA because that's how much they love him. That's how good of a dad he is, and he had no dad because he was motivated by not having a dad. You ever see LeBron James dunking on somebody and they take a snapshot of it? Every single one, he's got his nuts in the dude's face, And he says, eyebrows furrowed like a black Klingon, just filled with dwarf. That's because every player he pictures, fuck you, dad. Like, he's just, even the white players, he's like, fuck you, white dad. Just one person. He's some Middle Eastern dude, like, I did not come to this country from nuts in the face. Please, I'll have to go back to Czech Republic and work in mines if you drop triple-double on me. I can prove it too. My current girlfriend that I told you about, she's 27 years old, and she's the best person I know. Her dad beat the shit out of her, but then left. Got out when she was 16, so she left, came to California, got a job at a nonprofit working for abused women who are about to be mothers to help raise money and fundraise so that they can get out and get better lives. That's how good of a person she is. Yeah, that's true. My ex-wife is 30 years old, and she had a father who did the same thing to her and stayed in her life to this day, and she tried to cure my hemorrhoids with crystals. Who's the LeBron in that situation? I go to my current girlfriend, and I'm like, and she's just like, here's medicine, honey. I go to my ex-wife, like, and she's like, make some rose quartz, put a little pink stone in your butthole, see what happens? That's when you know you gotta reevaluate your relationship. You're just laying face down with your pants pulled slightly below your crack with a pink stone resting, like, why didn't your dad just leave? One of my buddies is former UFC heavyweight champion Josh Barnett. And I was talking to him once about fighting, because he's a champion. I might go get some, learn how to defend my loved ones wherever. So, are you okay? Sorry, that scared me for you. I was like, is that an elk? I feel like that's what elks sound like. I've never heard one with the word, but I feel like it's similar. That's what deer do. They go, Okay. Where was I? That's scared the shit out of me. Defending loved ones, that's right. Okay. So I asked Josh, this is going off the rails. I asked Josh when I asked him, what martial art would be best for me to learn to protect my friends and family, because here's the problem. I'm 6 foot tall, but I have short stubby legs, so I have low center of gravity, but I have a big torso, so I'm an easy target, and my wingspan is 5 inches less than my height, so I have no reach. It's supposed to be the same as your height. That's what it's supposed to be. I told him all that. I said, what should I learn? Jiu-jitsu, judo, karate, taekwondo, Muay Thai, what? And he goes, probably some with weapons. It's the nicest way I've ever heard anybody say. It's the nicest way I've ever heard anybody say, like, look, you will not be able to defend your loved ones. So, you know how they say don't bring a knife to a gunfight? You should bring a gun to all fights. It's not fun knowing that if you're fighting with someone, you can kick them and they can headbutt you. So you know what I do now? I became a biter. I'd rather have a fucking nibble than earlobe. Because I figure if I'm built like a T-Rex, I might as well fight like one. What's a girl? What? You guys have your own conversation?
Your girl, before you're done.
Oh, you're calling me a girl because I'm going to do it wrong? Listen, bitch, you don't even know what the fuck you are talking about, alright? I am a proud tiger mom. I am out here with my Asian ass doing what I need to do with my little ass wingspan. How dare you step to me now? You see how long I've been studying that stupid character? Excuse me, bitch. Cody, you back there?
Yep.
How much time are you? Am I over?
No, you're good. Still got 10.
Still got 10? All right. Can you toss me thank you for the person who moved. Yeah, I think it balanced. One person moved, one left. Thank you. I'm like Thanos with the fucking snap, but just with senses of humor and people that don't have any. But It sounds like I'm taking it personally. I'm not. I just like making fun of people. I think that I think we're all racist. We all are. We all are. When it comes to one thing, patience. You don't even need to know what the race is. You'll just be racist against it. If someone makes you wait a little too long for something that you really want, you're just like, of course they would do that. Classic those people. Your friend's like, what are they? You're like, I don't know, but they do that. Excuse me, sir, where are you? Lithuanian? Fucking Lithuanians. Every time. And I say this to be funny and be vulnerable because I'm not proud. I caught myself doing it to 2 different races at one time. It's like, this is a twofer, that's not good. But I was really on lunch break, I was late on lunch break, so I didn't have time to eat. I'm in a food court line at a Johnny Rockets because my life's going great. And ordering is a Japanese woman from Japan who is ordering from a Mexican dude from Mexico. And they're both trying to speak English in 2 different accents. It's like a double membrane layer of understanding to get through. So I'm sitting back there. It took 10 minutes for me to get one burger order in because she's up there looking at the menu going, burger please? And he goes, okay, cheese? And she goes, what? He goes, I said, okay, cheese. And she goes, no. And he goes, okay, so no cheese. She goes, yes. And he goes, okay, so yes cheese? She goes, no? Like a question, no? And he was like, so no cheese? And she goes, what? And I was like, what kind of multicultural who's on first, I don't know, third base bullshit am I stuck in? Some failed Rosetta Stone Duolingo experiment happening. I was like, where are the cameras? This is bullshit. And then at one point he goes, queso? And I'm like, in what world? You think she knows Spanish over English? Does Japanese woman know Spanish over English in America? What do you think? I mean, I don't know. There's a little Tokyo in parts of LA. Maybe in actual Japan, there's a little Mexico. I don't know what is going on here. So finally, he comes out with tongs and a slice of cheese, going, cheese, cheese. She just gave up on words. This is the thing. You see the square thing that I have? And she looked at it like it was giving her visual constipation. She's like, I don't know. And she looked at me like, get involved, please. And I'm just like, bitch, you gotta deal with this, all right? You're an American now. Act like an American and yell at the immigrant. Yell at the immigrant. Okay? While he's sitting there waving with his dirty Mexican hand, just yell at him. Not because he's Mexican, he was in the kitchen. His hand happened to be dirty. That's your fault. You did that. If you're offended, that was you, okay? Maybe amend it for you fake woke people. The hand that happened to be Mexican, that happened to be dirty, that happened to be holding cheese, was waving in front of this dirty Japanese woman's face. I don't like Japanese people. And cheese. You even laugh like I feel like I would laugh. Except for that's just straight up jolly. I don't like that. That's a laugh like your older brother is Santa. That's why you get so much time off this month. This is his. I love that. People who laugh with their mouth closed make me laugh all the time. It's like, I was like, what are you in a Japanese film? Now we're fucked. Oh, I have no ears, I forgot. Where's my gun? He's cracking his knuckles. I'm like, where's my holster? Stop doing it. This guy's ruining my night. It's like his fucking laughter is his coughing of his like terminal stage 4 cough that he's got going on. And you're probably healthy too. That's the fuck up is. You got the cough of an unhealthy man. You're the healthiest person. Yeah. That's what triggers your wife in her sleep. You're like, ugh! She's like, the fuck just happened? Bitch. Go back to bed, Roger. I don't know if you use Roger, but it seems like Roger. I noticed out here there's not a lot of carpool lanes. There's not a lot. There wasn't any where I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana. There was like a few, but I live in California now. They're everywhere. Carpool lanes are everywhere because it's overpopulated. I didn't know what they were. I saw the little diamond on the road. I was like, can you only wear jewelry on this road? So when I moved to LA to make it as a comedian, I was single, just by myself, nothing but a car, sedan with a trash can full of DVDs and a drum set and a guitar. That's all I had. I came out here in my early 20s and I was like, okay, so how am I going to abuse this carpool lane thing with nobody that I know to sit in the seat? So I Googled what constitutes a passenger in the carpool lane in California. And I can't make this up. On the official ca.gov website, the list of what counts as a passenger starts very reasonable, and then the further you read down, it gets really weird. Like things people have tried, Like at the very top, it's like no mannequins can be passengers, no pets, no toys. At the very bottom, no ghosts. And in parentheses it says, trust me, we've heard it all before. Which means someone got away with that shit. Why else would they write that in? Some dude was driving, probably just overworked and tired, and was like, I'm gonna get in the carpool lane. Woo, got pulled over, he just had a seatbelt buckled over nothing. Just cushions. And the cop was like, I pulled you over? And he just looked at the empty seat like, no. He's like, you don't have a passenger. And he had to think fast, and he was like, oh, you don't recognize our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? I said, Jesus, take the wheel. He said, I'm too drunk to do it. You get it? You get it? No? Okay. And then he just drove off. Because there was no legal precedent for that. There was no legal precedent. No one in this room was in a social studies class or a pre-law class learning about Casper v. the state. Where a judge had to hit a gavel and be like, we have decreed you have to have an atomic weight of greater than 0. And be made of flesh and carbon and hydrogen and human elements to be a passenger and shit. all these state officials high-fiving. We won the case, we did it! All these angry ghosts in the back. Whoa! Whoa! Fuck you! Ghost rights, where are they? Some reporter afterwards, how do you feel about the verdict? I just feel like we're invisible, Jan. Just got to see right through us. And above, no ghosts. Again, I cannot make this up. No unborn babies can be passengers. That's a real thing, ladies. Again, I feel like some woman got away with that. She was just driving to her own birth in the carpool lane, 9 months pregnant, just like, oh God, what do I do? Woo! It's pulled over. They're like, I pulled you over. And she was like, oh, nope. You know how we eat this placenta, or what are we doing? That went too far for something over here. I actually was so curious about that. Someone came up to me after the show in Palm Springs, and they said, hey man, you're funny. I actually know why they wrote that unborn babies law. I was like, please tell me every detail of this story. And he was like, my buddy's a cop in Palm Springs, pulled over a woman who was 9 months pregnant, but she wasn't showing. She's really skinny, she was 9 months pregnant, or it's 5 months pregnant, not showing. So the cop's arguing with her because she was in the carpool lane, and she's trying to tell him, I have a passenger, and he's sitting there going, no you don't. So they argue, he writes her a ticket, she takes him to court and wins. She wins, she shows all the prenatal records, all the documents, medical records, things like that. A week later, same cop pulls over the same woman in the carpool lane. First of all, how vindictive is this dude? He's just been following her for a week, like, I'm gonna get this bitch. I don't care what it takes. He's got a beard down to the floor. His picture of his family in the rearview mirror that left him because his quest for justice took him too far. From text connecting different colored yarn of the ultrasound photos and the upholstery. Woo! Pulls her over. He starts to argue with her. She starts arguing with him, and then she recognizes him. And she goes, I remember you. I beat you in court. You can't write me a ticket because I have a passenger. And he says verbatim, oh, I'm not writing you a ticket for not having a passenger in the carpool lane. I'm writing you a ticket for having 2 people in the driver's seat. That's illegal. Have a nice day. Sometimes a joke writes itself. And that is one of those. You guys are lovely. I love you. Even the lady who left, and I think she gave me the finger in the way when she. Did she say I'm number 1? That sounds like a very Montana joke. This is the same as this, if you think about it. Look, I've had a lot of fun with you guys tonight. It's been a blast. I'm not drunk enough yet, so I'll do that later. But I'll just say this. I think we assume a lot about people based on whatever, race, height, whatever. I think a lot of people come up to me and it gets annoying. They're like, dude, are you a fighter? Like, they just think I can fight based on what I look. They're like, dude, are you one of those Asian? They literally do that. They'll be like, are you one of those? They do that? Yeah. And I always tell people, like, no, man, I am a last resort fighter. That's what I am. I'm a lover. I love to love. I love to be nice. I love to give people the benefit of the doubt. I think the desire to get into a fight, like a fist fight, is genetic. I think that's like built in to who you are. And my proof of this, and this may surprise a lot of you in Montana, is surfers. You guys love it. I know you think of surfers, and you think of the chillest dudes ever. You think dudes that just rip waves all day, dude, shred gnar. Just shred some super shrap gnar, dude. Just get up there and ride the wave, dude. When we get back to the shore, dude, Taco Tuesday, man, cervezas on you. Let's fucking do this, bro. Let's be buddies. Surfers are kicking the shit out of each other every day. Every day, because there's an etiquette to surfing. And if someone takes your wave, you're allowed to haul off and throw haymakers in their face. And people are like, that's right, get them. And I didn't know this until I moved to San Diego from the Midwest. My bass player that I toured with was a semi-pro surfer also. Sleeve tattoos, Irish, hot-headed dude, the whole thing. And he was telling me this story about this Brazilian dude who took his wave, knocked him off his board. So he gets back on the board and he's like, what the fuck, bro? And he's like, whatever, dude, shut the fuck up, mind your business. And he was like, oh, you want to take this to the shore? He was like, let's do this, bro. They're literally swimming side by side, talking shit all the way down. Who stays mad for that leisurely 5 minutes? Ooh, I can't even with you. Oh, I'm gonna fuck you up, dude. When we get there, I'm gonna fuck you up. And then they got to the shore and continued to fight for another 15 minutes. Just kept fighting. How was that not built in? He was like, yeah, dude, I won the fight too. You know how? Because I kept kicking him. I just kept kicking him and kicking him. And he kept trying to move, but he didn't know how to kick or block. So I kept kicking, and then he tried to kick back, and he couldn't do it. I was like, yeah, because both of your arms were tired. You guys are both Irish river dance fighting. Like, bitch. And now I live with fear. I live with fear because I had to fly with this guy. I had to tour with him. And I know that commitment to fighting is built into him. He'll just do it. He'll do it after 30 minutes of swimming. Like, I don't even know that when I'm at the airport with him, getting ready to tour, and he's in some beef with some guy on the other side of the TSA. I gotta wait for that to go down. Like, yeah, bitch, you wanna go? You wanna go? And it's going down today. You have no idea what's about to hit you. You have no. Thank you very much. You have no idea. Yeah, dude, gate 13, asshole. Gate 13, I'll see you there, bitch. I will see you there. I will wipe the tarmac with your ass. You have no fucking idea what's about to hit you, dude. No idea. Yeah, bring your kid. I want him to watch. I want to see what a little bitch you are. Yeah. Should be right there. Guys, that's my time. Many times, you guys. You guys are fun. Woo! Maybe I love it. I love love. I love you. And I love our veterans too. grew up in Indiana. If I didn't, I'd have been stoned to death one night. Half my friends were in the Army or the Marines. So I'm selling a shirt. I'm gonna get some. There's 5 left. I also have it in sky blue, but it's basically just a photo of a dude yelling in the TSA machine. You know that little stick figure they had up there? That's there's a little surfboard propped up on the side. It says, "Please raise your arms according to picture and keep calm." And I just want you to know all the proceeds go to a good cause. They go to the UAA, which is the United Asian Alliance, which is my bank account. Goes straight to my checking. I'm Isaac Allen. You guys are fun. Thank you, my friend. Follow me on Instagram. Isaac Allen. Let's give it up for the band.